StoryCorps CT features interviews gathered by the StoryCorps Mobile Tour in Connecticut. Meet Maria Rosario and her daughter Elena, talking about what it was like for Maria to move to Hartford from Puerto Rico when she was a child.
I was born in 1962 in Ponce, Puerto Rico. I was one out of 16, 9 brothers and 6 sisters from the same marriage. And I'm number 15. Now, my parents moved to Waterbury, Connecticut when I was 3 because my father was working in factory work. But then my mom did not like it here. So she told my dad she wants to go back home.
Okay, so you're in Puerto Rico now. So when did you come back to Connecticut?
My mom passed away when I was 7. My dad had 7 children to care for. He worked very hard, but he couldn't do it. So he decided to bring us to Hartford, Connecticut, where my older sister was living, where there was 5 of hers and there was like 6 of us. They put us on a flight and we asked for my mom. One of my sisters says, "You guys kept calling for mom." And they didn't tell us anything. They didn't tell us she passed. We knew something was different. So because of that, I always worried when I was young if I wanted to have children, because then what if I'm not there anymore because my mom wasn't there anymore? So I always prayed that God would give me the power to see them finish school, get their driver's license, so that if anything ever did happen to me, they could go on their own. And I have been blessed with that. So I think now I could pass in peace.
So how did you growing up here affect the way that you raised us here?
I loved Connecticut. Mm-hmm. We used to play outside, double dutch and all that, and there was no problem. We did not have cell phones. We met a nun, which really, she was walking the street and she talked to us. So we ran into the house and told my older sister, we want to go to school with the nun. So she got us into Sacred Heart Church. Mm-hmm. And then we started First Communion. She got us into the youth group. So we felt that we belonged there.
It's interesting to me to hear about you talking about how important impact nuns in church and Catholic school had on you, because I am also very religious because of the way that you brought us up. I felt like we had those opportunities to do things like church, or you got us involved with, the YMCA. And so in some ways, it sounds like your experience with those things made you want to find some of those things for us to be able to do when we were kids.
Yes. My situation of living, that I was helping my sister with her kids and all that, I lacked on a lot of things. Like I wanted to be a Girl Scout and I wasn't. I wanted to do Outward Bound and I never did.
Outward Bound?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
did that. My sister did it. Yep. I could do it. So all that is like when I started seeing and hanging around these people that have a life like that, I said, that's what I want. So if I'm not going to get it for me, if I ever get married and have children, I'm going to do the best I can so they could have that. So I felt fulfilled by letting you guys do it. One thing I did when you guys were young, no matter 2 jobs I had, I always made sure you guys got to school. Don't miss 1 day of school, because that was what's going to give you a future.
I mean, in a lot of ways, we couldn't do it without you. And so that's why I often say that my education is your education, because I couldn't do any of this stuff without this.
Well, I like that because I would love to have a PhD.
Maria and Elena Rosario in Hartford, Connecticut, produced locally by Connecticut Public Radio. See and hear more stories at ctpublic.org/StoryCorpsCT.
The StoryCorps Mobile Tour is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.